Hi there, and welcome to 10.6 Consulting. Today we're going to take a look at how to set up the user preferences in Primavera P6 EPPM. The user preferences are active every time you log into P6. To set the user preferences, if we're in the Dashboards page, you go all the way to the right to the Welcome drop-down menu and you select My Preferences. In the My Preferences page, we want to select the Display Format page. And then for the currency, the first option to set, we're selecting US dollars. Then we want to toggle to display decimal places. Also display the currency symbol. And that brings us to the date format. A good place to start is with day, month, year, showing a 4-digit year format and also to show the month name and leading zeros. Next is the time format. You can choose to show a timestamp or not. One benefit of showing a 12-hour timestamp is if you had an activity that started on April 13th, is that April 13th at 8 AM in the morning, or is that April 13th at noon, or is that April 13th at the end of the workday? You will not know unless you have a timestamp for your activities. Now there are times when you do not want to show a timestamp. Typically, that's when you're printing out your schedule to show to stakeholders. Typically, when you print out your schedule, you have limited amount of real estate on your paper, and you'll probably want to limit the width of your start columns and finish columns for your activities. And to limit those column lists, you may want to go with Do Not Show Time for the timestamp. But again, you can always come back to your user preferences and set them to show a timestamp. I'm momentarily going to leave the timestamp on, and then I'm going to toggle to show minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and select Save. OK, that brings us to the next user preference setting to discuss. That is the duration format. If you choose the drop-down menu for duration format, you see you have a number of unit values to select from. You have hour, day, week, month, and year. Many schedulers select days, although some very detailed schedules do go down to hours. We're now going to toggle to show the duration label, and for decimal places we can go with 1 decimal place. And that brings us to the time units format. Now for the time units format you have the same options: hour, day, week, month and year. When people report their time for the week or bi-weekly, they typically report it in hours. So for our time units format, we want the units value to be hour. And again, we're going to select Show the Unit Label. And then for decimal places, we can go with 2 decimal places. OK, the final user preferences setting that we want to look at is the units time format. Now you have the option to go in between show as a percentage or show as units duration. If you've got it set as show as a percentage and your resource is working 50% of the time, is that 50% on an 8-hour day? So would that be 4 hours per day? Or is that 50% on a 10-hour day, which would be 5 hours per day? You won't know unless you've got it toggled to show units per duration. If you have it units per duration, it will appear as 4 hours per day. Then you know that's 50% of the time on an 8-hour day. Or it might appear as 5 hours per day, in which case it's 50% of the time on a 10-hour day schedule. So we're going to select Show as a Percentage. If you want to show the units per duration, you can always go back to your user preferences options, and then toggle between the two to go between percentage or units duration. So that is the user preferences. And if I select Close, it brings us back to the Dashboards page. If you'd like to learn more about Primavera P6, then 10.6 offers some great online training courses. These courses are written by industry experts and offer you all the skills you need to get up and running as a P6 scheduler. For more information, visit our website at 10.6.com for full details on how to get started.